Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my World Chalice Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for February 2021. Wanted to do an update to the World Chalice deck for a good while now, ever since we got the World Key Master back in Dual Overload. I've been wanting to update this deck, just never actually got around to it. There have been other deck profiles that I've just focused more on, but finally got around to updating what I would say probably one of the best decks to introduce people to Link Summoning. This is one of the first decks released in Code of the Duelist that focused fully on, the different co-link abilities and link summoning. So if you're looking to learn how the playstyle works, this is definitely the deck to pick up for it. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the World Chalice monsters, we're running a few of the normal monsters for the lineup. I'm running 2 chosen by the World Chalice. All of their normal monsters, there are 3 of them in total, with chosen, I would say, being the best, just attack stat wise and overall, the availability to special summon this card from the deck with the different spells we have. That's why I'm running 2 of this card and 1 of Crown by the World Chalice and 1 Beckon by the World Chalice. Beckon definitely does have higher attack points than chosen, but chosen can be special summoned by unexpected die just like Beckon, but can also be targeted by emergency teleport, making it a little better just for your initial setup. And Crown by the World Chalice, I'm only running 1 of it just for its defensive capabilities. Once you set it in defense, it definitely is a little more difficult to get over than the other 2 monsters we mentioned. Beckon definitely just coming in handy for the 1800 attack altogether. For the effect monsters for the World Chalice lineup, I run 3 Lee, the World Chalice Fairy. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 World Chalice monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, once per turn. So this is your search monster, but it's also a great setup for another one of our fairy monsters that we run in the deck, which is the Agent of Creation Venus, being a modified target to go into this card and then just have a quicker route to summoning out our Mystic Shine Balls and just having better setup for some of the search power in the deck, one of them being World Chalice Guard Dragon, which I'm also running 2 of. When a card or effect is activated that targets your linked monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to negate the activation and destroy that card. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position to a zone a link monster points to. You can only use each of the effects of World Chalice Guard Dragon once per turn. So you have plenty of targets with all the normal monsters we spoke of before, and plenty of ways to set these cards up beforehand before you even, have the chance to add World Chalice Guard Dragon to your hand with cards like Lee for the initial setup and protection of your monsters on the field. I feel you only need the 2 of with this card being searchable, then it just becomes a resource in the graveyard to banish and set up more of your plays to go into. And then for the last of the World Chalice support, I run 3 World Legacy World Chalice. If a monster is special summoned from the extra deck, except during the damage step, you contribute this card to send that monster to the graveyard. So it's just a good way to take care of special summon monsters on your opponent's field. And you can only use each of the following effects of World Legacy World Chalice once per turn. If this face-up card, normal summon, set card, leaves the field, you can special summon 2 World Chalice monsters from your deck, except for World Legacy World Chalice, and during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. So not only having search power, it's just a good way to take care of a good amount of your opponent's plays with a lot of different decks focusing on the extra deck summons. This is just a good defensive card, and then another good setup card with all the different World Chalice monsters we're running for just more and more setup onto the field. For more of the easy setup of normal monsters, I'm running 3 Agent of Creation Venus. You can pay 500 life points to special summon 1 Mystical Shine Ball from your hand or deck, so you're not limited to how many you can summon with this card. You can pay the full 1500 life points with Agent of Creation Venus and get all 3 of your Mystical Shine Balls on the field, which then can be used quite easily for the link summon of a good amount of your extra deck, since the main one we go into first is Imduk, the World Chalice Dragon, just needing 1 normal monster to summon this card out, not needing any other requirements as long as it's not a token for that lineup. So 3 Venus, and then also the 3 Mystical Shine Ball for the playstyle. It can be from the hand or the deck, which is great even if you open up a few of these to at least special summon off of Venus, but also being able to rely on some of our other cards like Pot of Avarice to recycle these cards back into the deck to reuse again with Venus is definitely handy for sure. If you just keep Venus on the field and then use the Shine Balls for the resource, you can then just recycle them again and pay life with Venus again to summon them back onto the field again. And then for more recycle power along with the Pot of Avarice, because you'll definitely go through the monsters quite quickly with this deck and your playstyle, I run 2 Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling all monsters in your graveyard into the deck. And then that special summon is the main reason we run this card in the deck, not having anything to do obviously with the actual Forbidden One cards, just the monster recycle, and then a special summon of a monster on the field as another resource for us to use. And then lastly, for the monsters in the main deck, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, just my hand trap of choice in the deck. If you want to try Nibiru or even Effect Veiler, they could be target spots in this position in the deck, but Ash Blossom is just my go-to one, just the, I would say, best hand trap, obviously, to use for the lineup. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. We run a pretty good variety of spell lineup along with the monsters. I run 2 World Legacy Succession. You target a monster in your graveyard, special summon it to a zone a link monster points to. You can activate 1 World Legacy Succession per turn. So along with the fact that we're going to have link monsters on the field plenty of times, but also being able to add this card off of World Legacy World Chalice with its graveyard banished, since it is a World Legacy card, just makes it a searchable monster reborn basically in the deck. So great for that setup especially. And then for the fact that if we just open up another one, it is a once per turn, but having this and monster reborn both in the deck gives us 2 graveyard special summons to reset up link arrows on the field also. I also run 1 World Legacy's Heart, another searchable card. You target 2 World Chalice monsters in your graveyard with different names and add them to your hand. If your linked link monsters would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. And you can only activate 1 World Legacy's Heart per turn, but we're only running 1, so that's perfect there. Another search target and recycle for the fact that you can summon out your normal monster, then summon those monsters out with Imduck, getting the additional normal summon to then go into one of your link 2 monsters, depending on the setup you need for the field. For some of the other generic spells in the deck, I also run 2 Transmodify. This is for the setup of Venus, that much easier on the field. For using with Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, I'll go over the play that you can do with this at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. For more special summon power, with all the normal monsters we're running, I do run 3 Unexpected Die. My main targets most of the time are the World Chalice normal monsters, but if I've gone through all those cards and still need targets and I don't have Venus, I do have the Shine Balls as the additional target to use with these spells, just in case I need them for the additional search power. And I also run 2 Pot of Avarice, once again with Exodius being the recycle for all of our monsters. You're going to go through them very, very fast, but the bonus with Avarice is that you have the draw too. And it's not a once per turn, just with how fast you can go through the play. And I already spoke of the Shine Ball recycle, where then if you keep Venus on the field, shuffle back your Shine Balls, and then you can just summon them back out into the field again after being recycled with Avarice from the graveyard. And then to finish off these spells, we have a good number of 1-ofs. I run the 1 Monster Reborn along with the World Legacy Succession. This is just a great setup for your special summons on the field. The 1 Foolish Burial can set up your World Legacy World Chalice in the graveyard for the banished search. So it's basically just a search for another World Legacy card in your deck. The 1 Harpy Feather Duster for destroying your opponent's back row, because basically succeeding in your link summons is the main play you want to focus on in the deck, so very important there. The 1 Emergency Teleport for special summoning out our Psychic Monster, which is chosen by the World Chalice, just another easy Unexpected Die like card on the field to use. And lastly, the 1 Scapegoat. You can't summon out Imduck with Scapegoat, but you have plenty of other options just to set up more link plays in the extra deck. Just needing 2 monsters for Lib the World Keyblade Master makes it for an easy setup, and then just having more and more link monster options with Link Spider, and then having all the variety with your Nightmare lineup as well. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. The only trap I run is another searchable one, being World Legacy's Sorrow. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card or a monster effect while you control a co-linked monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only activate 1 World Legacy Sorrow per turn, but once again, with the World Chalice, just being able to add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand gives us the option for another World Legacy option using this trap card. And being a counter trap can stop a good number of cards your opponent may activate, including the Solemn lineup, as long as you have your co-link cards on the field, which is the main playstyle of the deck in whole. So being able to have this setup is quite easy, just for the relied on negation against your opponent's cards. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 3 Imduck, the World Chalice Dragon. You need 1 normal monster except a token to make this card. And during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 World Chalice monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. And at the start of damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, this card points to, you can destroy that opponent's monster. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 World Chalice monster from your hand. So more resources for the fact that it has to be a World Chalice monster means we just have plenty of options depending on the World Chalice monster you want to summon out, and for the fact that Lee can also benefit from being summoned out with a special summon can give us more search power when relying on Imduck and our easy Link 1 monster. I also run 1 Aram and 1 Ib, the World Chalice Priestess. More protection and just needing 2 monsters with different types and attributes to summon Ib and 2 World Chalice monsters to summon out Aram for the Link plays. Aram is great for the power boost and the Link arrow positions, while Ib on the field, most of the time I want to place in the main monster zone with the setup here to then help with the additional co-link plays with some of our other Link monsters, including the 2 Ningirsu. This is probably the best arrow lineup in the deck, just needing 2 or more Link monsters to summon this card out. If this card is Link summoned, draw cards equal to the number of World Chalice monsters that this card points to. You can only use this effect of Ningirsu, the World Chalice Warrior, once per turn. And once per turn, you can send 1 card from each player's field to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 World Chalice monster from your hand. So the ideal setup would be with your Aurum in the extra monster zone, having Ningirsu being co-linked with your Ib, the World Chalice Priestess, and pointing to both of the cards on the field for the additional send power, and then just the additional protection with Ib and the power boost from Aurum as well. I also run 1, technically not a World Chalice monster, but still part of the storyline, and very good in the deck, is Lib, the World Keyblade Master. It can only be Link summoned while you have a World Legacy card in your graveyard, so very easy to do. You can only use each of the following effects of Lib, the World Keyblade Master, once per turn. During your main phase, you can set 1 World Legacy spell trap directly from your deck, but it cannot be activated the turn while you have no World Legacy monster in your graveyard. And if the Link summon card is sent to the graveyard as Link material, you can shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. So the shuffle power is immensely good with this card, but also while you have no World Legacy monsters in your graveyard, a very easy sentiment to get around, obviously, with this card. And just needing the 2 monsters, it's great for the scapegoat play, as I spoke of before, or in general, just needing a 2000 attack point monster using 2 monsters you have. For some more of the generic Link monsters, I also run 1 Mech Knight Crusadia Avram, being the final form of Aurum as well, and just another boss Link monster to get on the field. Needing 2 monsters special summon from the extra deck, so with the option of 2 or more, you have plenty of special summon to rely on just being able to use Aurum and Ib alone to make this card, and then just a very difficult card for your opponent to get around. And also the 1 Link Spider for the scapegoat plays, and also we do run a good number of normal monsters, so if we need more special summons onto the field to make use of. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. The arrows, especially with these, come in handy with all the different co-link benefits in this deck. That's why I like to run the Nightmares, especially for the lineup. And lastly, for the Link monsters, 1 Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess. Just another great Link 4 monster with easy arrows to co-link with a bunch of my different monsters I have in the extra deck. And then lastly, for the extra deck monsters, I run 1 World Chalice Guard Dragon Almaduke. It needs 3 Link monsters, and you can just summon this card out by fusion summon or special summoning from the extra deck by tributing the above cards you control, in which case you do not use polymerization. And this card can attack all monsters your opponent control once each, and when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's Link monster, you can banish 1 Link monster with the same Link rating as the monster from your field or graveyard to destroy that monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So this is a true fusion powerhouse, and very easy to match up with your opponent's Link, since we're running at least 1 of every Link aside from 5 in the deck. So as long as we have that, we have a good way to take out a good number of different cards my opponent may have, or just the fact that this card can attack each one of my opponent's monsters definitely makes it a one of for the deck for sure, and being World Chalice in the name makes it that much better as well. And that is it. As for the go-to plays I spoke of before, if you open up with Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, and you summon out this card, you can add one World Chalice monster from your deck to your hand. So being able to set up, let's say, the World Legacy World Chalice in our hand, you can then activate your transmodify to switch out from Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, to your Venus agent on the field, since they are both light fairy, meeting the transmodify requirements there. You can then pay the 1,500, and depending on where the shine balls are, you can even have just the one in your hand. You can still special summon them onto the field, giving you your full setup and resources, still having the World Chalice in your hand as well for the setup, and also being able to send one monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to add Lee back to the hand can set up the World Chalice in your graveyard, giving you this card back in your hand to use. You can then use the one shine ball to go into your first link summon, which will be Imduck for that play. And then also, just remember, with Lee being a once per turn, you won't be able to get another search off this card, but you still have plenty of resources with Imduck being a wind dragon, and also your shine ball being a fairy light monster. You then have the play to go into your next World Chalice monster, which can be your Ib, the World Chalice Priestess, using the two monsters here for that play, meeting the requirements for that summon off of both of these cards. And then also with the initial setup of your cards on the field, you can continue your link plays, or if you didn't want to go into Ib, the World Chalice Priestess, and let's say it was late game, you can choose the option to go into Lib if you have the World Legacy card in your graveyard. But remember, you need that setup in the graveyard to make full use of this card, and RM needing the two World Chalice monsters to summon this card out on the field. So having your option for the additional normal summon if you set up before the World Chalice monsters. Let's say you open up your Unexpected Die or your Emergency Teleport to summon out any of the World Chalice normal monsters we spoke of before. You can summon out your Chosen, Beckon, or Crown, whichever one you need for the special summon, and do the exact same play we spoke of before, having your Agent Venus and the initial setup still of all the other monsters in the field with the World Chalice in the graveyard and the Lee in your hand. Using the same play, you'll use the shine ball for the Imduck, so you can keep the World Chalice normal monster on the field, being able to then summon out the same play we spoke of before, which is the Imduck, then using these two monsters to then go into your Aurum, which will be your Link 2 powerhouse to rely on. And then from that play, you will then go with one of these shine balls into your next Link 1 play, which is your Link Spider, still having the two requirements on the field for the Link Spiders being the normal monster, which is a Cyburst Earth and a Fairy Light, to then summon out your Ib, the World Chalice Priestess. And then if you just get luckier from there and you have the Pot of Avarice in your hand, you have plenty of monsters then in the graveyard to shuffle back and then reuse the Agent of Venus to then shuffle all the shine balls, paying the additional 15 and summoning even more requirements on your field to go into more Link monsters, which then you can use the Agent of Venus. And if you shuffle back the Link Spider, even better as well, because then you'll be able to use these two cards, different named monsters, to go into, let's say, your Nightmare chosen target. And having these two co-link, you'll get the draw along with the Cerberus. And don't forget, if you shuffled the Link Spider back as well, you can use the final shine ball to summon out another Link Spider, giving you the two links on the field to summon out the final boss monster and getting all three of the Link monsters for the World Chalice out on the field. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. It's definitely a very combo crazy deck, but that's what's most fun about the World Chalice deck, just being able to try out all the different combos and learn link summoning along with just the different co-link plays as well with the deck and you using it basically. So until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.